This is Georgia Southern Football 90, featuring the defending NCAA National Champion, Georgia Southern Eagles. This program is brought to you by Team Baden Isuzu. We are the competition. And by Atlantic Cellular. It's for you, Savannah. Now here's your host, Bill Edwards, and Georgia Southern University head football coach, Tim Stowers.
Good evening again, everyone. Welcome to Georgia Southern Football 90. Head coach Tim Stowers of the Georgia Southern Eagles. Tim, you talked about the honeymoon being over, the marriage starting. I know after all the talk and everything, you finally have something concrete to work on. I know you weren't happy with the first performance, but at least now you have something to gauge the team by.
Well, a win's a win, and we'll take it any way we can get it. But I really think our kids now realize that, hey, we can't throw our blue jerseys out there on the field. We've got to do it on Saturday and Saturday night, and we can't wait till next time. We can't live on past performance. We got to do it now. That's an important lesson to learn, is it not? Because sometimes you do kind of get impressed with yourself at times. I think when you go 15-0 and the players have been home for Christmas and they walk through the malls and they see all their old buddies and everybody tells them how good they are. Now, realization has set in. They know they've got their work cut out for them because we got Middle Tennessee Saturday night. And Middle Tennessee, of course, as we had mentioned on numerous occasions, we embarrassed them twice last year. We traditionally have not played well up there. We've had a struggle anytime we've won. These guys are going into a real battle. It's going to be a war at Murfreesboro. The home team, the home team usually has the advantage in this series. As you look back in Georgia Southern Middle Tennessee series, the home team has the advantage, and we're going to war. This is the best Middle Tennessee State University football team I believe that Georgia Southern's ever played. I believe it's the best one Coach Donnelly's ever had. We know they're going to be ready for us, but as far as tonight's game goes, I think Coach Spurgeon on Wednesday at the Booster Luncheon may have said it best. It depends on what our attitude is more than anything. Right, it's all a state of mind. Obviously, we weren't in a very good state of mind last Saturday to play against Valdosta State. Hopefully this Saturday night we'll be ready to play. We'll be in the right frame of mind, because if not, it'll be a long night. Because if they can embarrass us, they will. You talked about working on the offensive line this week, Raymond taking more snaps, working on the goal line situations and things like that. Well, the offensive line has had two pretty good days of practice on Monday and Tuesday, and they've shown some improvement. They're embarrassed by the way they performed last week. We got on the goal line last week, first and goal on the 3, and couldn't get in. We had to kick a field goal. That's embarrassing. That's not the way Georgia Southern plays football. But we can't live on the past. We've got to do it when we get on the goal line. We got to knock it in. We can't kick field goals. We got to score. Okay, it's going to be a tough one tonight. How do you look at it? It's going to be tough. It's going to come down to if Georgia Southern cannot turn the ball over, play good defense, not give up the big play, have a sound kicking game, and make something happen. And if we can make something happen in critical situations, we'll have a chance to win. Okay, good luck. We'll see you after the ballgame. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. All right, we'll see you with the first half highlights of the Middle Tennessee State game right after this. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, a place we love to hate. Artificial turf and usually hellacious weather when Titans clash. Perhaps the tame weather this time was an indication that the two squads this year were not, however, of titanic proportion. As the teams met with a coin toss at midfield, things remained status quo from last week. Georgia Southern won, elected to defer to the second half, and the Eagles' Don Norton kicked it 61 yards to Orlando Crenshaw to begin the proceedings. This was billed as a war. Wrong. Most wars are at least interesting. The first half of Saturday's game started off real slow and then tapered off. On the second play, quarterback Phil Ironside gave to Ricky Martin for 2 tough yards before Eagles' Gift Smith and Paul Sickley dropped him in his tracks. Sickley and Patrick Parr teamed up on the ensuing play to keep Marty Carter from going anywhere, and so it went. The Blue Raiders had to punt. Rodney Oglesby fielded Chuck Daniels' kick and brought it back about 6 yards, where the Eagles started with their initial offensive series at their own 38. For a moment, it looked like we had something going. Big Joe Ross sliced off left guard for 6. And on third and short, Raymond Gross faked it, then pitched to split-back Darrell Hopkins, who turned the right corner for a nice chunk of artificial estate down to the MTSU 32.
course, it's only a nice chunk when you're given credit. The Eagles were penalized for illegal procedures, so it was all for naught, and we lost 5 yards. Make it 10, because the Eagles were penalized again for the same thing on the very next play. So on 4th down, and goodness knows how much, Terry Harbin's punting services were needed, and Terry was incredible Saturday night. His hang time superb, allowing maximum punt coverage, and guys like number 14, Clint Avert, were able to get downfield and make the play. And the Blue Raiders' return yardage was practically nil. The mark of a great quarterback, however, is to make something out of nothing, and Middle Tennessee's Phil Ironside is a great one. Coming off reconstructive shoulder surgery on his throwing side, Phil bobbled the snap from center, but still managed to quickly recover and complete to Ricky Martin. But the Southern In-Hospitality Committee began to show their true colors, too. On the next play, nose guard Curtis Gordon dropped Ironside for a 2-yard loss. Undaunted, Ironside fired over the middle on the next play to split in Kenny Donaldson for another first down. The Ironside to Donaldson combo continued to be as hot as tickets to Phantom of the Opera when Phil hit Kenny crossing over the middle down to the Southern 20 before Mark Giles and Paul Sickley could stop him. Ironside called his own number on the next play and with a nice fake up the middle got outside and took it inside the Eagle 10 where Mark Giles managed to stop him again. 2 plays later, Ironside was at it once more. This time he got inside the 5. But no more. On 3rd down, Ricky Martin hit a wall of granite trying to go up the gut against the Eagle defenders. So it was field goal time for the Blue Raiders. Matt Cruz came in and drilled it through for a 3-0 lead. Seems the Blue Raiders could also do the granite wall impression. Watch them handle Joe Ross on 1st down. Came down to 3rd and desperate at our own 24 when Raymond lobbed one to Darrell Hopkins, who made a superb catch, avoided a tackler, and bowled his way toward 1st down territory at the 36. But the Eagles just couldn't get the 1st down, so Terry Harbin came in to put on another hang time clinic, and Clint Avert was there again for another demonstration on how to keep the guys from getting away as the first quarter drew to a merciful conclusion. But the second period didn't begin any better. On 1st down, the Eagles jumped off sides. Stick around, folks. It gets worse. On 2nd down, Raymond keeps it, appears to be headed out of the hole, only to drop the football. Middle Tennessee State was in business at the Southern 18. But the Eagle defense continued to be as stingy as Scrooge on Christmas Eve with his last dollar, dropping Phil Ironside for a yard loss. And not even a 3rd down pass in the flats to Kenny Donaldson got the needed 1st down yardage thanks to Curtis Gordon and Mike West. So it was 3-point time again. And Matt Cruz's 22-yard chip shot put the Raiders up 6-0. Then very late in the first half, Southern had MTSU deep in a hole. And could they keep them there? Wrong containment breath. Ironside pitched to tailback Joe Campbell, who made it look as easy as duck soup, racing 29 yards up to the 32 before Decatur's Kevin Whitley could stop the proceedings. It was bad, as the Eagles missed a golden opportunity here. And to make a long story interminable, Ironside got the Blue Raiders in field goal range once again, firing over the middle to Donaldson for 20 more yards. And remember when we said a great quarterback can make something out of nothing? Mr. Ironside proved it here as he was falling down, shovels it up to Joe Campbell for another 8 yards. And where's that stupid NFL in the grass rule when you need it anyway? With a measly 4 seconds to go, the field goal bowl continued as Cruz was perfect from 41 yards out, just by a foot. That's all he needed. The Blue Raiders took a 9-0 lead into the locker room. And Eagle defenders knew it could have been worse, and the offense knew it could have been better.
Yeah, we came out for this game really pumped up, and I think we matured a lot, and I think this team's better than what they really think right now. You know, we really didn't play that well, but yet we still had a chance to win. But when you do stuff wrong in other quarters, like the first quarter we didn't score and we let them score 9 points, then against good football teams it's tough to come back.
They've got an awesome offense, real powerful offense. they're real hard. They come at you, and they're going to come at you with some power, and you've got to stick your helmet in there and hope you get up all right, you know.
Yeah, we came back from last week, and we worked hard, and we played pretty good, but not as well. We didn't get the victory, but we still got a little ways to go. We just need to next week just practice real good, just come back and bounce back and get ready to play a good football team next week.
Now there's a mouthful. There's another football team at Georgia Southern, though. Soccer. Meet Coach Tom Norton at halftime. There's hope yet. As poor as the Eagle offense looked in the first half, it was a metamorphosis in the second. On the Eagles' second possession, the pulse rate began to return to normalcy. Joe Ross for 7 on 2nd and 9. And after a procedure call, Raymond hooked up with Darrell Belzer for 14 big yards to the enemy 46. The reincarnated Eagle Express kept rolling toward the station as Joe Ross picked his way through the Raider defense. 9 yards on a record-setting night. In all, Ross was boss in this series. He carried 7 times. In those 7 carries, he ate up 25 yards, including the last one to pay turf, as the Eagles packaged a 75-yard drive in 13 plays and consumed 5 minutes and 22 seconds. As the Eagle faithful who'd made the long trip to Murfreesboro cheered on, the Eagles would score on their end of the field, cutting the gap to 2. Joe Ross over the top. 9-7 Blue Raiders. The next time the Eagles got the ball, they were rolling again, and though a score was needed, none materialized. Hard-charging Lester Eford got 9 to the MT 35. Eford got 1 more on 3rd and 2, but on 4th and 1, instead of going for a field goal, the Eagles threw the dice and came up snake eyes. Joe Ross couldn't get it.
We just got to make the play. When it comes to crunch time, we got to make the play. And, you know, we can't stall like we do. We had the ball inside the 20 a couple times, and we didn't get touchdowns. You know, we got to go ahead and punch it in.
Yeah, a lot of penalties tonight, too.
Yeah, we did. We stopped ourselves basically the first half. You know, they didn't stop us at all. We just got the penalties, got behind early, and, you know, that cost us the ball game.
I think first half, you know, the team was still kind of young, and then they finally adjusted to what defense they were playing, and we had more opportunities to run the ball, and they kind of grew up a little bit and played ball.
Defense kept us in the football game. They had a good goal line stand to make them kick a field goal. They kept us in the game the first half. The offensive line grew up a little bit the second half, but we didn't do good enough to win the football game.
But the Eagles were still in it, as the fourth quarter began with the Blue Raiders trying to dig themselves out of a hole again thanks to the fantastic punting of Terry Harbin. And this time it was Southern's luck which prevailed, as Ironside's 3rd down pass went off the hands of the intended receiver right into the loving arms of Mark Giles at the Blue Raider 13, and Georgia Southern was in business. On 2nd down, Raymond went behind his blocker, big number 50, center Rusty Parrish, on a quarterback draw for 9 big yards down to the 4. Lester Eford looked like he was in on the next play, but he did get the first down at the 1. And Joe Ross did the rest on 1st and goal, and the Eagles had their first lead of the night, 13-9. All set up by Mark Giles, who was a happy kid. How about the interception? It was great concentration on your part. The ball popped up, and you were able to keep your eye on it and catch it.
Yeah, it was a power set, and normally that's a running set. And I saw the motion. The quarterback had the ball, so I just tried to get depth, throw it back in the flat. And Jim broke on the pass, and I believe the pass was a little high. And it hit his hands and flung up in the air, and I just stuck my hand out there one hand, and it landed in my hand. I couldn't believe it, you know. It's like, all right. Turned around, and number 38 drilled me, so that's the way it goes.
You did get clobbered. Well, just get your chips together and get back in it. We go down to Tallahassee next week. That's no picnic either.
We'll be back. I'm thinking this is a real learning experience for us. This should motivate us to want to get back in the playoffs and beat Middle Tennessee.
Everybody's young. Mark Giles made a heck of a play. I mean, on that interception, and you know, everybody was trying hard. We just had a few letdowns, and well, you know, you got to grow closer together when bad things happen.
It looked like this team did a lot of growing up in this ball game tonight. Looked a lot better tonight than we did last week.
You got a bunch of great guys on this team. You know, it's fun to work with because nobody, you know, fusses at each other.
And that's what, when you start fussing, when things go bad, you're gonna mess up and you're gonna have mistakes.
With the score now 13-9, they decided instead of kicking the extra point to go for 2, thus giving Georgia Southern a 6-point lead and not just 5. Coach Tim Stowers explains their logic on the play.
The 2-point chart basically says go for 2. We got beat by 3 points. If we got made the 2 points, it wouldn't make any difference. We just wanted them to have to kick a field goal and kick 2 field goals to beat us, basically.
History tells us that the conversion, whether or not it had worked, would have been moot. The Blue Raiders struck for their only touchdown of the night like lightning, as quarterback Phil Ironside scrambled to his right and tight-roped the sidelines on a 47-yard gallop that looked for all the world like he'd stepped out of bounds on at least 2 occasions, but we have no vote in the matter. On the ensuing play, Ricky Martin took the pitch and carried the mail the final 11 yards for the fateful tally. The Eagles were now down 16-13, but came flying right back. On 3rd and 6, Raymond Gross fires to Darrell Belzer for a big first down at the Blue Raider 28. But after things bogged down, it's now time for the tying field goal. Terry Harbin, unfortunately, can't handle the snap, but does a better recovery than Garo Yepremian ever thought about, throwing a spiral complete. It was almost a first down, but not enough. It was Middle Tennessee's football.
I thought I could get the ball down, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I thought I was going to be able to get it down, and I tried, and I thought if I'd have tried to get it down, it would have been blocked, because Mike would have had to delay. Probably would have kicked it low, they'd come up the middle, so I thought the best bet was just to roll out and do what we could do with it. And I rolled out, and the big guy came right at me, and I just kind of paused. He hit me, and I wasn't going to go down. You know, that's a little determination there. And I was yelling fire. That's our call. And the ends come out, and we go in the flats. And they were covered pretty good, but I kind of squeaked it through there. I thought we might be able to get the first down, and but we fell a little bit short. But I think it's good for us. You know, I hate to have to come down to that, and it causes a loss, but next time when we're in that situation, I don't think we'll fall short again.
The Eagles had one last Hail Mary that turned into Bloody Mary, and the nation's longest winning streak was stopped at 16 games. Meanwhile, the MTSU students took off for the goalpost like they just won the national championship. Well, at least we made somebody happy Saturday night. An unhappy Coach Stowers will be back with the final word in just a moment.